Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for episode 117 of the MeepleCore Gaming Podcast. I am your host, Tim Jennette, the Metal Meeple, and I'm joined by my co-host,
George Breden.
And in this episode, we discuss the cream of the theme. This is part one of a series where we break down each board game theme and give you our top picks, and much more. Intern Alexa, ask a random question.
Here's a question for you. What is one animal that you are really afraid of?
What animal are you really afraid? Dogs.
Just dogs, really?
I'll just straight up say it. Dogs.
Oh, man.
Dogs, I don't like dogs.
And they're so common. You must be in fear fairly often.
Yeah, I don't like people's dogs. This is going to give me a chance to rant, and probably a lot of people are going to not like me, but I don't really care. So here's the thing. When I was little, there was a bunch of, when you live in an area that's more rural, people don't understand what leashes are, right? Because you're not in the city. You don't have to worry about leashing your dog up. And so constantly when I would run through my neighborhood, dogs would chase you and bark at you and crap. And like my bus stop was the next street. So I had to like cut across a couple of yards or walk down to the end of my street to the bus stop. And these dogs, man, like everybody in this neighborhood had dogs. And so that kind of geared me up for like later on where I just don't like people's dogs. Like I'm just really just apprehensive to dogs. I don't know if that's actually not a strong enough saying. Okay. I don't like to be around people's dogs.
I guess I'm just lucky people don't have any pet killer bees or wasps.
Is that that's an insect though? She said animal, right?
That's an animal, yeah.
Dude,
they kill you. They can kill you.
What about like actual animals though? Do you have any animals that you're kind of?
An insect is an animal. Okay, but that's fine. Well, how about a jellyfish? I don't like jellyfish either.
All right, well, fair enough.
Things that sting me, I don't like.
What about things that you commonly come across?
Okay.
Like I'm not a big fan of like jaguars, but I mean, it's not like I'm like I'm not like subjected to jaguars all the time. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Things that I'm not very afraid of animals that I come into contact with pretty often. Like a bull, like some, rampaging bull or something I don't come across that very often, but it would be bad.
Well, yeah, but that's a state. That's a rampaging bull. Like if you came across a sleeping bull, you'd probably be all right?
Well, I figured it would jump to its feet and rampage any second.
Yeah.
I'm not very afraid of animals.
No, that's fair. I'll say that I'm probably more afraid of animals. I'm pinpointing dogs, I guess, specifically because of a childhood trauma.
Oh, yeah. So the other night I was out walking. I go walking pretty late sometimes. And, I didn't click on my light until I was way too close to these animals, but I was fortunate. On the road next to some woods, I'm walking along the road. I click on my light. I was walking without having it on for a while because it was a really nice night, pretty decently moonlit. And I sensed there was something in the road in front of me. I click my light on. There's two skunks right there.
Oh, wow. They would have sprayed you.
Oh, man. I came so close. And I backed up so fast. And one of the skunks immediately started going away from me, but the other one started coming my direction. And then it changed its mind after like a second and turned around and it ran away too. Funny.
Well, that was a long answer to the question. Anyway, we talk about board games and video games, and we have basically just one topic on this episode, and it's a long one, so it's going to be, we're going to probably split it up among a couple of parts. We'll see how much we can get onto this episode and then move on from there. But before we do that, as always, we're going to talk about what we've been up to since the last episode, and then a couple of things of news. And I'll start. Number one, I've been playing Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury on the Nintendo Switch with my son. This is what we got, what I mentioned last episode, and it's really fun. Nintendo has this really cool way of making like a family experience enjoyable. Because a lot of games will do, a family experience, but they don't pull punches or something, or maybe like they don't pull them as much. Nintendo's just kind of like, you're going to beat this game, so let's just make it a good experience, right? If that makes any sense. Like, for instance,
like the difficulty level.
Right. Like in Super Mario Deluxe or whatever it's called, it's 4 players, but when you die, your lives almost don't even matter. Like, like when you die and you run out of lives, it's like you want to continue, and you hit continue, and it just counts how many continues that you've used. So by the end, it's like, right now this is a different game than what I'm getting ready to talk about, but I have like 9 continues and my son has like 40 something, right? Cause he's a 5-year-old.
Right.
But it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah. You just keep playing. That's awesome.
You just keep playing. There's nothing to it. You're eventually just going to go through and beat the game. Well, it's kind of like that with Mario 3D World, Bowser's Fury. Bowser's Fury is like the newest game. Like, this is a new thing. Like, Mario 3D World is a game, I believe it was on the Wii U that they converted over. And in Bowser's Fury, it's like 1 player. I mean, it's 2 players, but it's 1 main character. It's Mario. And Bowser has kind of went nuts. And his son, who was in Mario Sunshine, Bowser Jr., he flies around on my like little unhappy face thing with like the propeller. Yeah. And he carries a paintbrush, right? Because he was in Mario Sunshine, long story, but whatever. He is your second player. He flies around with you and goes and does stuff. And in the options, you can change how interactive he is. Like, is he super interactive or really low? Because maybe you don't want the computer to fly around and do all this stuff for you. Right. Because he'll fly around and beat up bad guys and like hit boxes and open them and get things that you can't reach right now.
Huh.
However, you can choose a second player to control it, which is what I do. I let my son play the game as Mario, but then I fly around as this guy. And it's just like, you could just sit there and it's like, we need to collect that. Well, there's like a jumping puzzle to get to it, or I'm just like, fly, click. I mean, you destroy.
That's really good.
It is really good. Like for a father, like for a parent, not even a parent, but like just an older person and a child. Yeah. Playing this thing together, you know, somebody who's got a lot of experience and somebody who has none. You let the person that doesn't have an experience play the main game, right? And then, or vice versa, I guess. Like if he wasn't good at all,
right,
then he could play the flying guy, and it doesn't matter what he does. I just pretend it's not there, and if he does something, cool. If he doesn't, cool. But in this case, it's like I'm swapping it to where I'm being the handicap. I interact a lot, or sometimes I just fly around if he's doing really good.
Yeah, I wish more games would do this. I wish all games would do this. You know, you could be playing like Red Dead Redemption or something and somebody's the horse.
Yeah, stuff like that. Where you can just control some weird thing that almost doesn't matter, but you're having fun.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a 2-player mode in Mario Odyssey. Odyssey is the one where he takes his cap off and he tosses it. And you can basically control the cap. I mean, like throw the cap and stuff.
And 1 player could be the cap?
Yeah. So it's really good. I have a lot of fun with it. It's a short game. I think it's like 6 hours to basically complete it. to almost get everything, right? It's a really shortened experience. With your son or whatever, with my son, it's a good length, right? Cause we'll play it 2 or 3 times and then we've beat it.
And then does he want to play it again, or is he done?
Oh, yeah. No, he wants to play again. He loves Mario. He's beaten Mario Odyssey, which is crazy as a 5-year-old. Although it does have assist mode on. So when he falls off of stuff, it doesn't like just die. It brings him back in a bubble and pops it. And then so he's back where he fell off from. He just has less health. Whereas if you and I were playing it on normal mode, you fall, you die, it like respawns you back at the checkpoint or whatever.
I would play on assist mode.
That's fair. So, I mean, but you would probably fall less than him, I would assume. You know,
I hope so.
But I hope so. And the Mario 3D World is pretty good too. It's a traditional Mario game, but it's like all 3D environments. But you can play it up to 4 players. It's really cool.
Okay. Yeah.
And other than that, I think that's pretty much all I've been up to, other than some more Pokemon Go, playing some more Oceanhorn 2 on the iOS, some Marble Knights, which I talked about. So it hasn't been that long. I mean, we're doing this weekly now, so not a lot going on between, other than, you know, I can add that I edited the podcast and posted it.
Hey, there you go.
Anyway, what you been up to?
Well, I haven't been up to too much, so I think rather than talking about what I've been up to, I think I'll talk about a couple projects that are on the radar.
Okay, cool.
All right. So one of them, I actually kind of want to rant about this one a little bit, but this is, for people who've listened for a while, this is one of my top favorite games, if not my favorite game, and it's Robinson Crusoe, Adventures on the Cursed Island by Portal Games. And this game has on GameFound I guess, what do you call it on a GameFound? It's not a Kickstarter. It's a
game founder.
A game founder, yeah. You can go
crowdsourcing. Crowdsourced game.
Get the game. It's a new edition. You can get some expansions for it, things like that. Well, there's a couple things that are bothering me about it. One is this game doesn't need miniatures, and they did a partnership with Awaken Realms. And Awaken Realms, that's all they care about, really. Everything is miniatures with them. So yeah, now just to upgrade and get the extra content, all of the gameplay content, I have to get all these miniatures. I have to get €85 worth of miniatures that I don't care for. And I wish there was a pledge where they could let us get all the gameplay content without the minis and not factor in that cost. But that's not what they've set up here.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Is it just one thing, like one pledge level or something?
No, there's a bunch of pledge levels. But there needs to be a pledge level, I think, for supporters of the game who have everything already, just want the new cards, the new books, the new, gameplay content without miniatures. The game doesn't need it.
I like how it's like goal reached in 18 minutes and 14 seconds.
Yeah. It's going to be super popular. They're going to do great. They're going to make a ton of money. They're not going to care about my opinion, but I'm going to end up with a bunch of miniatures that are going to take up a lot of space and won't feel very necessary to the game at all.
Yeah, I don't think they're that necessary.
No, not in this one.
Especially when it's coming with, this is the style of game where if you want this kind of bling, you like 3D print it on the side.
Right. Do it yourself. Yeah.
Because it looks like it has all the different like structure levels to your base. Like if you've added like level 4 palisades, now it's like, 4 rows of like sticks all over your building.
Yeah, no, I will say that is kind of cool the way they did it. They made your palisade level and your roof level of your camp into this series of models so that you put them together and that shows the level you have. But here's the thing. I've never had a level 3 even on either of those things.
But either way, it's $60 if you bought all that crap separately is what I mean.
Yeah.
I see your point. They're adding a ton of miniatures and stuff when that should probably be like more of an add-on.
It should be a separate thing for people who really care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty disgruntled about it. I'm going to end up getting it anyway.
The volcano dice tower is cool.
It's something, it's nice.
It's something, right.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea they're putting little stretch goals on it, but they're doing like big miniatures kind of stretch goals too. And okay, whatever.
It looks cool though.
Other than that, the game is one of my top favorite games of all time. And they're coming out with an adventures book that's going to have 20 more scenarios for the game. So that's fantastic.
And that's similar to the first expansion they had, right?
Yeah, they've had a couple of expansions. Voyage of the Beagle is one that they are going to do again in the future. It's actually not part of this. It's not part of this one. And I know the reason is they're going to do 1 million miniatures for that. So look forward to that, everybody. A couple of years for next year. Yeah. Which, I don't know. Why not? We're going to have this big camp miniature and everything. Now we're going to need a big ship miniature.
All the tiles are miniatures now. So
yeah.
You explore it. You just find the right miniature in the box.
That's
what happened in Terraforming Mars.
I don't have use for it. I don't want big miniatures in my games.
That's fair. Any other news stuff?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just put out another shout out for a game on Kickstarter called Ghost Rider, as in writer. This is the game I talked about last week, and it's still going strong. It looks like a great party game if you like word games, and it's got a nice, speaking of theme, it's got a good ghost theme to it. Check this one out, Ghost Rider. There's a company called Board Game Tables that is coming out with a 3-pack of games. Ghosts of Christmas, Factory Funner, and Bear Raid. Bear Raid is a stock trading game. Factory Funner is, the game where there's Factory Fun, Factory Funner. It's been around for a while. Anyway.
Factory Funner is the sequel?
Yeah, it is. Literally. Yeah.
That's fun. What was the other one? Bear what?
Bear Raid.
Bear Raid.
Like Air Raid, but it's a stock trading game where you can short the stocks. So it's a bear market, So that might be interesting. But the one I'm actually most interested in out of that trio is Ghosts of Christmas, because it has really nice art in a trick-taking game, which is a re-theme of the trick-taking game Time Palatrix, where you play 3 hands at the same time. And it's like you're going back in time, like the Ghosts of Christmas. Like, which time period are you playing into? And then you play 3 tricks and you're bidding on how many tricks you're going to win. So that's kind of an interesting twist on a trick-taking game for sure. Also, Final Frontier Games has a couple of games coming out together. Solani and The Girl Who Made the Stars. These are both based on some various myths from some cultures, I believe Native American, possibly African. Not quite sure, I don't remember, but they're doing a whole series based on different cultures' myths for creation of stars in the world and that kind of thing. And they look like really interesting abstract games with a lot going on. So Solani and The Girl Who Made the Stars, check those out.
I did check out the Girl Who Made the Stars.
Yeah, doesn't it look good?
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I like the artwork. I didn't really read into it too much. I just clicked on an ad, basically.
Okay. It does. It has nice art. But in the other one too, the Solani has some really interesting, sort of puzzly elements to it. So I'm kind of excited about that.
That's interesting. That's the same company has 2 Kickstarters going on at the same time.
But
that's crazy.
Well, and so did the other one. They're putting 3 games together in one Kickstarter. So I don't know. It's becoming a thing.
Sorry, was both of these games in the same Kickstarter? The Solani and
for Final Frontier games.
I thought you're saying, I knew the first one was 3 games in one Kickstarter. I thought these were 2 separate Kickstarters.
No, 2 in 1 again.
Gotcha.
You could probably pledge for one or the other. I didn't really pay attention.
Yeah, it makes more sense to have one Kickstarter campaign going on.
Yeah.
Because those are a lot of work.
And they're going to do more. They're going to do more in this series. There's a massive storm outside. We may lose power. I don't know if anyone heard that thunder, but man, it's like right next to me.
I didn't hear it. It's noise canceled out, but
okay.
We'll go on strong. We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, next one is from Grail Games, and they're saying, they make Grail games. They repeat games. And this one, it probably is a Grail game for a lot of people. It's called Fjords. Been out of print for a long time, and it's basically a tile laying, Carcassonne-like game. Yeah. Speaking of which, last one I'll mention is Carcassonne has 20th year anniversary coming out, and it's basically Carcassonne with different art. I didn't see anything different. Did you?
Nah, and I'll read off the little blurb. It basically says special edition of it to celebrate the 20th anniversary of its Spiel des Jahres win in 2001. This edition includes the tiles from the Carcassonne base game, the River mini expansion with 5 new river tiles.
Okay.
The Abbott mini expansion, and the new 15 tile anniversary mini expansion. So maybe that sounds new. All tiles are adorned with UV printing, with many detailed Easter eggs being hidden in the art. Costume stickers are included in case you want to dress your meeples.
Right.
And it's completely compatible with all existing and future Carcassonne. You know what? The interesting thing is, I have so many Carcassonne expansions that I literally don't want to play it. As much as that sounds, like I don't want to get it out and play it, right? Because there's so much to have to decide on.
I understand what you mean. Yeah, it's the big box. Is that what you have?
No, I actually bought them as they came out.
Oh, okay.
So I have all the older one. I think the Z-Man stuff, whichever one was, or Rio Grande. I don't remember. Whoever doesn't own it now, I have all those. So I was deciding on getting, no joke, another copy of Carcassonne and leaving it by itself, which is sad because it means I'm probably going to play that one more than I would the actual copy I have with all the stuff in it. But I really like the look of this one. The art on the cover. I know it sounds like the art on the cover is so minimalistic and it doesn't tell you anything about the game,
It's just like a solid dark blue. Yeah.
Right. It has like a shield on it. It's got really cool, like the gold foiling and stuff. And I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have Carcassonne, or if you want to do like Tim's doing and just get one that you can, keep separate from all of your other expansions, this might be the way to go.
Well, cool. All right. Anything else?
That's all I got
for the news. All right. Well, we're going to bust out the main topic here. And the main topic we have is the cream of the theme, which you can email us about that later. That sounds disgusting. Anyway, cream of the theme, just like the cream of the crop, right, is the best. Not really the best of the best, because this is slightly loosened, right?
Yep.
Because there are thousands upon thousands of board games. I don't think there's many people, or if any, who could truly say these are the best in this theme, and I've played every game of the theme. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not. Yeah.
So, obviously all these top 10 lists and all these type of lists where we're talking about the best of the best and things like that are biased towards our liking. Now, yep. George might have done something slightly different, but what we are going to do is go through the same categories, the same themes. We're trying to limit these to the theme of the game, not mechanisms or mechanics. Right.
Yes.
So we won't do something like bluffing or worker placement. We're doing stuff like zombie games or, mafia games, things like that.
Yeah.
And we're going to take the games. We're going to talk about it. It's not a top 10 list like we normally do. This is more of a discussion where we're going to talk about our pick and then maybe a game that we think fits the theme very well or portrays the theme very well. And then we have a couple of games that we might mention that we like better, even though maybe the theme isn't as strong in that one or whatever. So
yeah,
we're going to see what happens.
See where it goes.
Yeah. At first we tried to do some kind of top 10 list like this, and I don't know. Some of these themes are a lot harder to make top 10s for. So it is kind of a better discussion topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the first we have is prehistoric. This is a theme that I think George likes a lot more than I do.
I do. I really like this one, but I want you to go ahead and go first with all of these, if you don't mind.
Nope. That's totally fine. I'll go first with them. Now, here's the thing. I have not played, actually on a lot of these, there's a couple of games I really wish I would have played before we did this list. It just would have taken way too long to accomplish that. So we're doing the list anyway. And I've played quite a bit of these games on the prehistoric list. And what's weird, and this is going to be kind of the same for a lot of these themes, it's hard to pick one game because what aspect of the theme are you focusing on?
Oh, yeah.
Like in prehistoric, there's a lot of really good party games that are prehistoric where it works on like the voice in stuff where you're talking.
Oh, there are so many.
Yeah, like UgTech and
UgTech. Yeah, Cro-Magnon.
Yes.
Oh, they're so much fun. Yeah.
Those are really good games, but what do you pick, those, or do you pick games where you're specifically collecting dinosaur bones and making weapons out of them? You know what I mean? There's a lot. So for me, it's kind of like a compromise between everything, right? And that is Rise of Tribes.
Oh, good pick. Yeah.
That is such the other pick for this I literally had on the tip of my tongue was Tribes Dawn of Humanity. That is a great one as well.
I might be getting these confused, to be honest.
Well, Rise of Tribes is more of the game where you're, I wouldn't really call it a 4X game, but it's the one with the hexagon tiles and you're moving around and.
Yeah, that's the one I like. Yeah. Yeah.
You get the dice and you shove them in. It's almost like a dice placement ish type of game or whatever. Okay. And you have like these events and stuff that come out and you're running around grabbing like resources and trying to complete, your goals or whatever. Cause I think like each,
it's like a tech tree of inventions.
That one is Tribes Dawn of Humanity.
Oh,
where you have like the big grid of cards out in the middle and you're trying to put tokens on it and move them up.
Yeah. Okay.
I am
getting these confused.
You are getting these. You should look them up on pictures. But Rise of Tribes is the one where you actually have meeples and you're moving around on hexagon tiles, like gathering resources from the tiles.
And they just came out with a Beasts expansion.
I think I did see something like that, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Now, my personal favorite, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Rise of Tribes, I think, is a very good prehistoric game. Now, there is a game, I believe it's called Prehistoric. Or no, it's called Prehistory, I think. Man, I can't remember what it is. I think that one probably be better than this, honestly, like as in this theme, but I haven't played that.
Okay.
My personal favorite pick that I'm gonna add, although I do like Rise of Tribes better than this game, is Mammoth Hunters.
Oh, yeah.
I think a lot of people kind of saw it and gave it like it's okay. But I really like it because you got the currency of stone and you're like bidding with stone and, paying for everything in stone. You have these cards and you're trying to move around on the main map and hunt the mammoths and stuff. And it's got that whole battle system which is similar to Rise of Tribes, actually, where like, just you kill one for one until somebody's left type of deal.
Yeah. So you can sort of plan it out that way.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, nice.
What you got?
Well, for my, this is my second choice, and it's a very, very strong theme, tie-in. And I chose it because it is cooperative, and I love that. And it's Paleo.
I figured this would be on there.
Yeah. It tells a lot of stories. It's, you really feel like you are this tribe that's sort of just scraping by, and you're trying to leave something to future generations and just make it through the night. Honestly, sometimes it's really clever. It's got a lot going on with, different events and things. And as a cooperative game, you really do have to work together. So I think this one's a good pick.
I was going to say that is a better pick for this theme, honestly.
Just for the stories.
Just for the stories. And it's unlikely. Like Rise of Tribes is more of like, I feel like it's more of an alternate history of prehistoric games.
Yeah.
Because it's more of like these tribes are all fighting each other. I don't know if that was really a thing. I feel like more people are trying to survive the natural elements of the world in the beast and just not die from hunger than it was like in Rise of Tribes, where I think is maybe a little bit like, if you took like the periods of time, Rise of Tribes is a lot closer to more civilized stuff than Paleo is. So it depends on what end of the spectrum you want to.
Yeah, as soon as people really started getting advanced, they did definitely start killing each other. So.
Yeah.
And probably before that as well. We just don't know about it so much. So yeah, Paleo. And then the one that I think fits the theme the best for me, is a very complicated game. This one is Neanderthal, and it is by, Phil Eklund. He did Greenland, and this is very, very similar to Greenland for that matter, but he did Bios, Megafauna, and all these kinds of scientific games. And this one, you are trying to develop yourself into Homo sapiens. Basically, you have to actually develop your brain by coming across different inventions and hunting various animals and changing your culture in certain ways. And it's a great system based on the Greenland system.
That's cool. And so you really like this theme.
Yeah. And I've played a bunch of these games because it's one of my brother's favorites, so we've played like everything from like you said, the Mammoth Hunters, from Mammut and Jaeger and Samler, all of these, various, there's, oh gosh, I've drawn a blank now, but if it's got mammoths in it, he's got this game.
Well, cool. All right. We're going to move on to the next one, I guess.
Let's do it.
The next theme is, and these are in no order, actually. They're just kind of in the way that we wrote them down. This is Pirates, a very common board game theme, I believe. And I know it's really kind of cliche or whatever, but I went with the very obvious, Merchants and Marauders. Number one, it's a fantastic game. You can do all kinds of things to make you feel like a pirate. I mean, you don't have to be a pirate. You could be a merchant, obviously, in the name.
Yep.
But you feel like you'll have those like sword fights going on and stuff too. And you can go and find treasure. I mean, it is a very piratey game.
You can be a merchant and suddenly turn to a life of piracy even.
That's true. That is true. It's such a great game. The only thing I haven't played with it is the expansion. I've owned it for so long. I don't know why I haven't played it. But it's a fantastic game. Not really, we don't need to dive too much into it because everybody knows about it. But my second pick, or my personal favorite, I think is also really good, and that's Treasure Island.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Man, this like focuses strictly on the buried treasure aspect of piracy, right? Or pirates in general.
Yeah.
Where, one player is, what is he? Captain Silver.
Right.
Long John Silver. And he's buried his treasure. He's in prison waiting to get out. He's giving you some clues and stuff on where he's kind of built it. If you've never played this game, basically it's a dry erase board with a map printed on it. And no joke, the pirate Captain Long John Silver has literally marked an area where he says this is where the treasure is, like a pinpoint area on this map.
Yeah.
And everything is you walk around and dry erase like circles. You put down these little discs or whatever, and you dry erase your circle around it to show like you're searching that area.
Yeah. You're spending all day and you're canvassing this particular spot.
Right. Such a good game. Like, I don't think this is like the best pirate game in the theme sense, just because it really is specific to like buried treasure, right?
Right.
But it is so good.
And I absolutely agree with you. I would have picked this one, except that this was actually one of my picks for a different theme category. And I don't even know if this is really a theme category, but it's Board Game Geek has these categories, and one of them is novel based. So that would be my pick for based on a novel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's hard to do these themes because our idea of what a theme is not the same as what Board Game Geek is.
No.
Because it's more of like a category. And so the board game categories could be, licensed movies or whatever. I don't know. Or bluffing or whatever. So,
yeah. And
the next one's pirates and fantasy and, so the categories aren't necessarily the same as what a theme is. So we're trying to narrow it down very, very specifically. Like pirates were a very specific time frame, right? So it's kind of easy to narrow down a pirate game. But the other one I would mention is Black Fleet.
Oh, that's a fun one.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Very light.
It's very light. It's basically pick up delivery, but it's a really cool game. That's just a fun one. I wouldn't consider that like a definitive pirate game though.
Yeah. Yeah. I pretty much did the same sort of thing. I picked one that I simply enjoy. And I'll start with that one. That one is A Tale of Pirates. And this is an app driven game. And you have this big ship miniature or not miniature, but a construction of cardboard ship in the middle of the table. And you pilot it around by turning it in the direction that you're going to go toward all these cards that are around the ship. And so then if you go toward that card, you flip that card over and that's something that you're encountering. And you have to run around the ship and do things in order to go past these obstacles. And in order to do that, all of your characters on the ship are sand timers. So you flip them over and then you have to wait till the sand timer runs out before you can move and go to another place. And if someone's in the spot where you want to go, and it's great. It's so cooperative. And it's, it's piratey stuff. You're sailing around, you're shooting ships, you're avoiding rocks and going through the rapids and trying to find, islands or whatever. It's great. It's, a campaign game in a sense because there's like 8 scenarios that are full games in and of themselves and they all add little components and stuff. Really good.
That's really cool.
And that's a pirate game, in a very, I don't know, sort of surface way. It's
right. It's
cliches.
Like pirates, but from the sailing aspect of it.
Yeah. So that's my pick for fun. This next game is also a lot of fun. Tale of Pirates, by the way, is from Asmodee and Cranio Creations. But this one that is my real pick for the cream of the theme is a fairly new game called Forgotten Waters. You might see a pattern here. I picked this one again because it tells a wonderful story. It really is just based on the story. It's got some ridiculous ad-lib parts to it that you can take or leave, but the story itself with the voiceover and everything is just a lot of fun. You really can get into the whole piratey theme.
Yeah, it's a really good game.
Yeah, and that's Plaid Hat that does the Forgotten Waters.
Man, there's so many good pirate games, but
yeah,
these are some really good cream of the theme.
I think for mechanisms, I would say I agree that your choice of Marauders, Merchants and Marauders, is going to be the better pick. But if you want sort of a light, easy playing, almost role playing pirate game, well, there's a lot of role playing that can go into Merchants and Marauders, but Forgotten Waters is one that is a little easier in terms of actual gameplay.
Fair enough. It's got a little bit of a fantasy element to it, I think, too, right?
Oh, yes.
Yep. Like the ghosts and things like that. More of like because Merchants and
pirates
Marauders
have to worry about that stuff. I mean,
that's
pirates,
true.
That's part of their reality.
All right. Let's do fantasy is next. Fantasy is an enormous category. Now, I'm going to define one thing real quick, at least from my perspective. When I think fantasy, I'm thinking like Dungeons and Dragons style fantasy, where you've got swords and shields and magic and dragons, that kind of like high fantasy, I guess. Because you can call anything fantasy, right? I mean, you can have games that take place in space that have magic and things, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking specifically traditional, like high fantasy, medieval fantasy.
Yeah, and there's a lot of just freewheeling with a lot of these themes on Board Game Geek, and they label a lot of games in a lot of different categories, and so you might find something like Root in this category.
Yeah.
And okay, it's fantasy because cats and birds don't actually shoot arrows at each other.
Right, yeah.
But okay, it's not really high fantasy.
Right. And so my number one pick, I know a lot of people are probably going to say Gloomhaven. I get that. I have not played Gloomhaven, the main game or whatever, and I'm like not far into Jaws of the Lion. So let's just say this. Gloomhaven might be a choice. I don't even know if I would still pick Gloomhaven though if I played it for this type of thing. It's a great game probably, but for a theme, I have to go with Mage Knight the board game. Okay. The reason, and I'll tell you what my personal pick is after this, but the reason is because I've always liked the Mage Knight style in because I used to play the miniature game back in the day. And it has like everything in it, right? It has an exploration of a fantasy realm. You've got magic, you got monsters. I mean, you got all that stuff.
You got peasants and villages.
Peasants. I mean, you can raid castles basically. It's an all encompassing like fantasy adventure game. Yeah.
I think that's a great call. I didn't go for that one, but I can see it for sure.
Yeah. And my personal favorite, which I've said a lot about this game, but I'm going to talk about it even more, is the World of Warcraft board game. Now I know, I mean, World of Warcraft, first off, is doing all the same things that Mage Knight's a better game. However, if you're playing any kind of fantasy role-playing games and things like that, like when I say role-playing games, I mean video role-playing games, like video game role-playing games.
Okay.
This encompasses all kinds of MMO style fantasy RPG stuff. You can raid dungeons. I mean, you could build your character out. You have all this like cool skill trees and stuff. I mean, it's all just cards, but the way that it ties in, it basically should be just a talent tree, right?
Okay.
It is a very role-playing fantasy game, similar to like how a video game is. And that's what I kind of think of when I'm thinking fantasy RPGs. I'm sure there's a lot of other picks, but it's a great game. It is like more of a dice pusher. You're rolling tons of dice and like rolling more dice and rolling more dice, but the dice mean something. There's like 3 phases to it for magic and, defense and stuff like that. So the dice rolling actually makes a lot of sense. It just near the end, it gets kind of convoluted with rolling 30 dice at one time and stuff, but it's a fantastic game. It's very good in the sense that if you like team-based games, this is like a 3v3 and it's kind of a race to get, you can level up your characters. Man, it's such a good game. There is, and there are a ton of fantasy games out there. Obviously you got all the Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones and type of games like that.
Oh yeah.
man, there's so many fantasy games that it's hard to really narrow them down, but these are my picks. So
Very nice.
Mage Knight, the board game, is probably the cream of the theme for me. But
yeah,
I haven't played Gloomhaven.
I can absolutely see that. I have played Gloomhaven. I didn't get into it enough. It didn't really hook me. People that play that a lot, they really get into it. So
yeah,
I can see where you're coming from, and it's probably, it probably is the top choice. I mean, for most people. But again, I'm with you on it. I haven't really gotten to that level of Gloomhaven. For this category, I think most people listening to the podcast would be able to guess a couple of mine because I've talked about them quite a bit. A Game of Thrones, the living card game, absolutely love it. And Dungeon Pets. And so I'm not going to pick either of those. Those are in my top 10 games of all time. So I've avoided those for the list. And instead, I've gone with games that are evocative of other fantasy IPs that I really enjoy. So the first one is going to be Argent the Consortium, which to me is the Harry Potter board game. And so that sort of Harry Potter fantasy of magic and wizards and all of that in a school, in a magical school. And Argent the Consortium is, of course, my level 99 games. And it's worker placement with a lot of take that, which I normally wouldn't go for, but this one just does everything right. The magic feels really good when you pull it off. And yeah, it's got that theme going for it, but it's not my real choice for cream of the theme. Cream of the theme for me, and when you're talking fantasy, for me, it's got to be a kind of a Tolkien sort of a thing.
That's fair.
But not Tolkien itself. There's a lot of Tolkien games out there. So I went for a game that I like that makes me think of Tolkien, and that is Legends of Andor, which is a very puzzly co-op. You'll notice a lot of co-ops on my list. But this one's got elves, it's got, dwarves, it's got dragons, it's got monsters, it's got the kingdom in peril, it's got everything. And it's super high fantasy, and it's so much fun to play. So many scenarios, so many different boxes that have come out with expansions. So it's my top pick, and it makes me think of Lord of the Rings. So that's why it is published by Cosmos.
Yeah, the weird thing about fantasy in general is that you can apply. I mean, you can do this with any theme, right? But there's a lot of themes. There's a lot of games out there that use fantasy, where it's like an abstract puzzle game or something. You just throw a fantasy. So
right, yeah.
Not saying those games aren't good, huh?
Kingdoms by Reiner Knizia. Yeah,
yeah. I'm not saying it's not bad games. They're good games, but it's like, what do you want this list to be, or what do you want the cream of the theme to be, right? And I was just picturing taking a game that encompasses, like, what do I immediately think of when I think fantasy? And I thought like swords and dragons and magic and stuff. And that's why I thought the Mage Knight, the board game, because I don't know much about enough about Gloomhaven, but I don't think it has, the same. It's more of like a dungeon crawler, so you're kind of confined. You're not out fighting like big monsters or fighting, maybe there's dragons in Gloomhaven. I don't know, but
you don't have any Battle of the Five Armies going on.
Yeah. You don't have stuff like that. I just picture like, I guess that adventure style, like dungeon crawls are one thing, but I kind of put them in their own fantasy environment, like fantasy's probably too broad of a theme anyway.
We might have to have just a theme for dungeon crawl. Yeah.
Like there has to be like dungeon crawlers, or, I mean, even with you picking like some kind of Harry Potter type of stuff. I mean, that is a very specific, like school of wizardry type of, fantasy.
That's true. There's quite a few like that as well. Yeah. Fantasy's pretty broad.
It's pretty broad. Yep. So speaking of pretty broad, we're going to move on to medieval games.
Oh boy. Now, yeah.
What I will say about this though, is when I say medieval, we are not talking, or at least I wasn't, when we're not talking like fantasy elements to the games. We're talking like straight medieval castles and, knights and stuff like that. So there's a lot of games here. I know not everybody's going to agree with our picks, and that's fine, because there's literally thousands of games for each of these categories, right? Or these themes. And I went with a game that is kind of interchangeable with another one. I just like this one better, but it's The World Without End, which is the sequel to
Pillars of the Earth.
Yeah, Pillars of the Earth.
Yeah.
Personally,
speaking of games based on novels, holy cow, those are great books.
Oh yeah, those are too big for me. Those are huge books, man. Which is fine, but anyway. So The World Without End is a very good game. I like the mechanisms in that one better than Pillars of the Earth, but both of them scream medieval, right? Because medieval wasn't always about just flooding like the battlefield with knights to fight each other. That's what's glorified. But if you talk about the Middle Age, the medieval ages, this is it, man. Like fighting off the Black Plague and trying to farm and,
build that cathedral. Yeah.
Build that cathedral.
Absolutely.
So, those type of games. My personal favorites, however, I will say is Crown of Amara, which that's more of like mechanics more so than like medieval. Like when I'm playing World Without End and I'm playing Pillars of the Earth, I feel like you live in the Middle Ages doing this. You know what I'm saying? The medieval ages doing this. Yeah. Crown of Amara is more of like a puzzly kind of game, but it does have a medieval theme to it.
Oh,
and that's
does.
great.
Yeah.
And then lastly, this one I just added on at the end is a game we just recently played that we're going to be talking about in an upcoming episode. And that's Praga Kaput Regni. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, we'll take it.
But it is a tremendous game in the medieval theme. If you really care about what's going on, but it's very specific to a city. So that's why I kind of like put this one on the background. You're right. Because that's more of like drilling down to one specific era of the world, which I mean, I'm just talking about, the other games are like medieval Europe, but still it's like a bigger area.
Yeah. I can see that. Absolutely. Do you know, I kind of want to change my picks now.
Oh yeah.
and I'll tell you why. Well, in the medieval category, of course, my favorite game of all time is in the medieval category, because it was occurring during that time period and it's Inis. So I didn't pick that one. Didn't want to go with things, repeat myself, but the other two that I picked are very, very similar to the games that you picked. This sort of really lends itself to the Euro category, obviously.
Yeah. I agree.
So I ended up going with Orleans, and this one is probably one of my favorite Euros because it has a co-op expansion.
I just want to change my pick so I can have a co-op.
Yeah. So this is.
If we ever did a top 10 co-ops, would you even be able to do that?
I'd be rough. It'd
be like top 50 co-ops.
Choosing between my children. Yeah. So, which I don't have any, but, this is by DLP Games and it is, it's medieval monastic life and knights are in the city and there's merchants and it's just everything that's going on, in Orleans as you're producing all these goods and, going around, various, towns in the region. So that's for a Euro, that's probably my favorite pick. But as far as a Euro with theme, that's medieval theme, I went with Village because it really does sort of narrow it down to the actual life. It literally is what you get done during your life, and you go to church and you go and you have a job and you go traveling. Maybe, it's really what went on in a very, sort of microcosm of medieval
that's
life.
why I focused on like the World Without End, Pillars of the Earth, because it is very, life in the day of a medieval, person.
Yeah. So it's funny. We kind of went on sort of the same route there. Village is, I think it's my stronghold, but I want to change my choice now because so far all my games have been sort of storytelling games. If I'd given it another moment's thought, I probably would have gone with The King's Dilemma because that's a medieval game that really has a strong story and you're these advisors to the king and you have to sort of negotiate and come up with directions for the kingdom to go. So it's got a lot of story to it. And that
one's a good one. It's weird because when you think of this theme, like anything, you automatically have those a couple of games that pop up in the top of your head. But then you have some of the games that you think of that you just wouldn't associate with this. Like King's Dilemma is a game that kind of goes on the back burner for theme, even though it's in that you're more focused on like the storytelling. Not like storytelling might be the wrong aspect of it, but like the decision making that's happening.
Yeah.
Like you're more focused on that and like the outcomes and future games, and it's more of a like a legacy type of game.
It definitely is. Yeah. It's a broader scope.
Right. And you don't just necessarily think, oh, well, that's right. It is in a fantasy world. It's kind of like with the fantasy category, like Kingdom Death Monster is a fantasy game, but I don't necessarily think it would be a fantasy like choice for me for like traditional fantasy.
No, it's almost horror.
Yeah, it's almost horror. Right.
Yeah.
Again, we're not trying to say that these games are the best of the themes. I mean, obviously the title is cream of the theme, but it was just funny it rhymed.
For us, they're up there. Yeah.
Right. But for us, these games are up there on the list, and we haven't played every game in the world. So
yeah, but really my favorites for medieval, it's got to be Inish and a Game of Thrones, the card game again.
Fair enough. Let's move on to the next one, which is farming.
Oh yeah.
Which I had to go kind of generic on this one because it is just so good for this category. I mean, it's the name. It's Agricola. It is a phenomenal farming game. I mean,
yeah,
dude,
I picked it too.
You can't think of another farming game that does a better job than this. I mean,
there's a lot of farming games. Board gamers love their farming.
Yes, they do love their farming. There is a lot of farming games. I agree with you. There's a ton of farming games, but when you talk about like the cream of the theme, dude, this is
the quintessential one. Yeah.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
Now for me, with my favorite pick, I went with Garden Dice because I love the mechanisms that are going on in the game, and you're also farming.
There you go. Yeah. That is a fun game. I agree.
That is such a fun game. Right. But I would not consider it like the definitive farming game like Agricola. As a matter of fact, it's probably for me, like Agricola is number 1, and there's a whole lot of them that are like number 10. That's how far Agricola is above the other games as far as theme goes.
Okay. Well, and I agree with you because again, Agricola tells a story. You have a family that has occupations and they do things, and you add to the family, and it's, I don't think that my other choice is going to be a better one than Agricola necessarily. But my second choice then is pretty strong as far as farming goes because it is Fields of Green. This is by Artipia Games. And in this game, you are running a great big farm that has a crazy assortment of various livestock and fields. I mean, like you're a super farmer, basically. You keep putting out these tiles and adding to your farm, but you have to make sure that the fields that you put out are close enough to water towers that you can get them irrigated, and you get crops that then you have to feed to your livestock, and you have various competitions that farmers, like might have a pie baking contest or a tractor pull or, all these different things. Yeah, it's so much fun, and it really has any kind of farm you can mention. Mention a kind of farm.
Wine.
I believe they have that.
Fair enough.
I could
Tobacco.
Be wrong. Actually, now that you say that, I'm like, I wonder if they do. Yeah, they definitely have that. Yeah. But even they have all kinds of animals like that you wouldn't normally, you could have an alpaca farm or whatever.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good one. And the only other one I would probably consider, I don't like, I wanted to put like Lagrange on here because I really like the game, but yeah. I don't like get the feeling, like I know I'm playing a game about farming and stuff, but it's like more of like a game of mechanisms than it is the theme.
Okay.
And so that's kind of the dilemma for me when I'm picking games on this cream of the theme, because you don't want to pick a game that's just really good because it's good and it happens to have that theme. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like going back to fantasy, Terra Mystica, I don't think is a good fantasy theme at all. it's a great game. I like the game a whole lot, but the Gaia project, which is basically like the, successor to it, makes more sense on what you're doing in the game with the theme.
Well, yes. Yeah. Why would it make sense for these hobbits to actually try to change the landscape?
Yeah, it's just like a weird, we want to make a different fantasy game. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, shouldn't they stay home in their shire and just, they're not going to go out.
Yeah, they want to expand out and like take over the world. Yeah, right. So like the theme for that doesn't make any sense to me. So even though it is a really, really good game and I understand it's super popular and a lot of people like it, I wouldn't consider that the cream of the theme because again, we are literally stripping the theme away and not all the way because you still have to like compare it to the mechanisms and everything that's going on. And like, do you feel like you're in this theme? It's really so.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, we're going to move on to the next one here, and that's Civilization. Now, I will caveat this with I have not played the Civilization board game. However, I have played a lot of the video games, and I hear that they're very similar. So it's very likely that is the actual cream of the theme. But since I've not played that, I went with Through the Ages, because it is also a very good civilization building game.
I've heard that.
Yes. Very good. I mean, it's all card based, right? It's like a kind of a drafting game or whatever.
Yeah.
But man, like if you read all the cards and you really you're immersing yourself in what's going on, you really do feel like you're building your civilization up as you go.
Yeah.
Very good game. A little bit complicated, but it's whatever.
And this is by one of my favorite companies, Check Games Editions.
Yep.
Yeah.
However, my favorite civilization game, my personal favorite here is Nations. Now, I'm not going to say the dice game because I don't feel like, even though the dice game is like a very shortened version of Nations, the card game or the board game or whatever, I don't feel like I get the same theme immersion in the dice game that I do in Nations, the actual card game.
Okay.
But the theme is a little bit loose because it does traverse like a lot of different ages, right?
Mm-hmm.
And which I guess is civilization. That's how it works. But, I do like Nations a whole lot because you got all these cards and you're using them to like buy new cards and upgrade them and stuff. And it's kind of, I just like the way the game flows and stuff, but it really does. You do see your civilization kind of grow as you're doing it, but not as much as you would in like Through the Ages and definitely not as much as you would in something like Civilization. So I'm going to have to say Civilization is probably the number one, even though I haven't played it just because I know it's so close to the video game. That is the definitive like civilization game.
I'll agree with you. And, I have played Civilization.
Yeah.
I was pretty much forced to do so by my brother, in the past. And yes, I mean, you really do go through all of the different stages. Good Lord, that's a long game. And I definitely have no desire to return to it ever. And this was one of the hardest categories for me because I really dislike civilization games, which is why, even though Through the Ages is by one of my favorite companies, I've never approached it. Here's what I got anyway. and we'll see if it's satisfactory. But for me, probably my favorite quote unquote civ game is one that nobody knows how to pronounce. And I'll say it lots of different ways.
Oh, wait. Cyclades.
Yeah, you'd think, right? Cyclades. Some people
Cyclades.
say Cyclades. That's right. And and if you ask a Greek person, they might say Kykladas, right? So who knows? Whatever.
Alexa, what does CYCLADES spell?
CYCLADES spells Cyclades.
Okay.
Oh, hey, there you go. That worked out.
All right. Well, I'm going with Cyclades. I don't know how much of a civ game it really is. I mean, you're expanding and
I saw this on there and it's a great game, but I would never think that I was expanding my civilization as I was playing it.
You start off on one little island and then you spread out. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that was a stretch for the theme, but
I'm stretching because I actually like that game a lot. I like that game a whole lot. So, all right. My next one, you'll probably like even less. But it's also, in my mind, a Civ game. Cyclades, by the way, is by Matago, one of my favorite companies. And the next one I've got is March of the Ants. And this is by Weird City Games. And you're doing everything you would do in a Civ building game except your ants, right?
And this would be a hard game to really pinpoint to any kind of theme unless you just said insects. But you're right. No, it is kind of, it's a civilization kind of game.
You kind of have a tech tree with your actual ants because you change their mutations and body parts and whatnot.
It's not what I would traditionally think Civ game, right?
Yeah, but if I'm going to be playing a Civ game, it's going to be March of the Ants.
That's fair. Some of my other ones I was thinking about was like Imperial Settlers, which I don't think you like that game. I
dislike that one. I actively dislike that one.
That's fair. But you are kind of like building your civilization because if you read the cards and everything and what you're doing.
Yeah.
And another game you probably don't like is Tapestry, which is kind of a civilization game.
I really dislike that one.
But I would not apply that to this theme. That's all more of a personal choice just because like its theme is so wonky. Like,
yeah, it makes no sense.
Right. What you're building, it's kind of like, yeah, that's stuff I would find in a civilization game, but not necessarily in that order. Yeah.
I mean, you're doing things to move up on tracks, and that's not exciting for me.
All right. Well, if you hate our list, email us at MeepleCore@gmail.com. But we're going to move on. The next one is also tough, and that's industrial and maybe like / manufacturing or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
This one was kind of hard for me because you do cross a lot of genres of stuff with industrial type of games. When I picture industrial, I think like factories with smoke coming out of them and manufacturing things.
Yes.
So I picked Brass Birmingham as my best pick, right?
Okay.
And it's a really good game.
Super popular.
It's super popular. I think that if I had dove into it a little bit more, because this is probably the one I could not make up my mind. Just because it is so vast. I mean, you're looking at Brass Birmingham, and then you see Predator and like just other games, and you're like, what is happening?
Yeah,
these
so
are
similar,
all over the place, right? Or like Power Grid. There's a lot of things.
There's a whole lot of industry games, that's for sure.
There's a whole lot of industry games, but
I mostly dislike them as well. That's why I picked this category, because I wanted to challenge myself.
You wanted to challenge yourself. So Brass is a really good game. It really is good. You do feel like you're in the industry. It's like this dark, smoky kind of game where you're getting goods and moving them around and getting points for it and stuff.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit less industry than I was thinking mechanic wise, but the theme is definitely there.
Okay.
It is a really good theme.
I want it to have like Peaky Blinders in it.
Peaky Blinders? Oh, that's fair. Yeah. My personal favorite, though, I went with Food Chain Magnate.
Oh, yeah?
Just because it's not as industry as I would, initially go towards with the whole like smoke and, smokestacks and factories.
I know it's definitely an industry, the food industry. Yeah.
It is the food industry. The game is phenomenal. A little bit long, but it's great. And of course, Brass is a little bit long too. But the one thing I really like about Food Chain Magnate is that the main mechanism is like you're building like this kind of like a corporate structure every time. Have you played this?
I've not. This one, it doesn't appeal.
Yeah.
I worry about this one, but I've heard a lot of people say it's really good. Maybe I should give it a try.
Man, it is really good. Super, super thinky. But one of the coolest things about it is not only do you have this like food chain industry that you're building up all these like restaurants and stuff, right? And you also have, when you play your cards, it's kind of like, not really like a deck builder, but you play your cards in such a way that it looks like a corporate structure, like the CEO's on top and like you got your managers and the workers under it.
Yeah.
And it plays off that really well. And it kind of really gives you the industry side of things, but necessarily from like a different viewpoint, you know, cause you're focused on more how like the structure is in your company, and then like building the restaurants and stuff more so than manufacturing and smoky factories. So I don't know. Well,
I don't know. This whole category for me, like this whole category is the reason I say I don't really like board games, because so many of these games are so popular and I have no interest, none whatsoever. I've never said to myself, I really need to sit down and play a game where I am in control of a food chain business. Do you know, it puts me straight to sleep. So it would be challenging for me to sort of take this one in.
It's hard. This is a really, really hard theme because, again, there's like Craft Wagon, right? But you're like manufacturing cars.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard to picture that in the same sense that like industrial games, you know, because I think when I think industrial, I think like industrial parts of town, you know, which, I mean, the car shops are there too. So yeah, I don't know. There's so much here, but I had to make decisions, and that's what I went with.
Okay.
So
well, it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that. I struggled with this category so much. Wanted to challenge myself. And it's funny that I actually did end up going with a car making game, and it's called Automania.
Okay.
I really like this one because it's very light and very quick. But it's got a lot of clever decisions, in what you're doing as well. So, you know, it's not one of these heavy ones. So many of these industry games are super long, heavy monsters that I have very little interest in getting through. So Automania is my choice. And, the one that I think probably fits the theme best, for me, that is also a game that I enjoy, and is maybe a bit longer, than Automania, which by the way is by Porta Games. The one for the theme, cream of the theme for me is the Manhattan Project.
I thought about this one.
Yeah. So the industry of making nuclear weapons.
That's good.
But you're sending out workers, and you're sending out scientists, and you're doing research, and you're getting materials, and you're turning those materials into bombs. So you are doing an industry in that sense. But this has extra layers where you have like a little bit of spy work. You can go and, you know, infiltrate other people's factories and get benefits from going over and taking what they've created. And, yeah, it's nice. It's a clever game.
Yeah. I like that one quite a bit. All right. So the next theme we have is mafia/crime. This is going to be interesting. I kind of focused more on the, well, I guess both, but mostly on the mafia. My best pick is Nothing Personal. This game is a phenomenal mafia game. I mean, it has everything in it.
Yeah.
This is almost like a no-brainer to me. Obviously, people have different opinions, but when I was thinking about mafia, this is on the top. You know, I get that there's the werewolf style mafia game. That to me is not, you know, as deep as what Nothing Personal is, just because you have like the ladder of, you know, offing each other just to take their position in the mafia organization. You can make bribes and threats and future promises that you back out of. I mean, the game even comes with the capo ring that you wear. It's kind of like kiss it, you know?
It's so good.
It's got everything in it. It is a straight up mafia game. Obviously, it's got the crime element to it because you're not doing anything legal. So good. It's such a good game.
Yeah.
That if anybody ever says, what game would you recommend as a mafia game, which is basically the whole point of this entire list, I guess, but Nothing Personal is the number one.
Yes. Absolutely agree.
In my other choice, which I always called it my personal favorite, I actually like Nothing Personal better. So this is more of like a second choice, but this is focusing on a little bit different aspect of mafia crime. And that's a board game called Vengeance. And what I really like about this game is that the mafia has basically like killed your family member or something like that. And you are basically the Punisher going back out and just killing everybody in your path to get to the final boss who you killed your family member or whatever it is to seek your vengeance out on them. And it's like that type of mafia action movie part of the mafia theme.
Yeah.
It's a really good board game. I think that one flew under a lot of people's radar.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. I haven't really checked that one out, so I'm gonna have to check that one out. But I like the connection to the way the mafia works there. Yeah. And speaking of movies, my pick is a CMON, or Come On, or however you say that company anymore. A game which I don't normally go for, and this is by Eric M. Lang, which I also don't normally go for, but it is The Godfather. Speaking of movies, Corleone's Empire. This is just a great mafia game where you really can put the screws on each other, and you're fighting for territory, and most money at the end of the day is going to be the winner.
Sweet.
Great tie-in with the theme. So I think that's my cream of the theme in terms of mafia. But as far as a personal favorite, I'm going to go with Alcatraz, the Scapegoat. So the connection to a mafia there is you've already been arrested. Now you're in jail and you're working on your escape plan. And in this game, you're going to make one person the scapegoat and leave them behind. Everyone else gets out of Alcatraz, gets off the island, but somebody's going to fail. They're going to be left behind, and you're trying not to be that person. So you have to be indispensable to the plan in order to make that happen. And it's done by doing votes and running around and doing, collecting things that are necessary all the time, watching out for the police and using all the special abilities of the places in the jail. I really enjoy this game. It doesn't get enough love, doesn't get enough hype. This one's fantastic.
Is this a game where one person loses and everybody else wins?
Yes.
There's not a lot of games like that.
Yeah.
I mean, other than party games probably, but.
Right. But this is a full length, kind of Euro style.
That's funny. You put that in board game stats, like BG stats, and you're going to have a high win percentage because it's very likely you're going to win. Statistically.
Well, yeah. Unless all your friends don't like you.
That's true. There's some really good mafia games out there. So
absolutely, man.
Like even just quickly brief through. I mean, you got Cash and Guns, which doesn't really like. I mean, it's got the theme, because you're sitting there like divvying up the loot after robbing a place or whatever.
Silly fun.
It's silly fun. It's not as cream of the theme as I think. But the only other one I wanted to mention real quick is the Sons of Anarchy game.
Yeah.
Simply because I know that that IP won't appeal to a lot of people, but it is a really good mafia style game. Like the stuff that you're actually doing is really good. This one I think was really hit by its theme a lot. Or maybe not, because they came out with Vault of Dragons, and I don't even know if that really sold well either. So,
is that an expansion?
It's not. No, Vault of Dragons. I have not played that one, but my understanding is it basically is a mostly re-theme of the Sons of Anarchy game.
Okay,
I think I might be completely wrong on that.
Yeah, I've not heard of it, so
I have both. So.
You'll find out one of these days.
Yeah.
So many games that we have just sitting around not yet played. It's so sad.
Oh, man.
And speaking of IPs, I have a couple in the Mafia category that I haven't played and would love to. One of them is called Narcos. So that one's, I think it's going to be really good. It's based on a TV show called Narcos. And then there's the Peaky Blinders board game. So got high hopes for that because I love Peaky Blinders, but haven't played either.
Well, fair enough. All right, well, we got 3 more for you. We're going to go ahead and try to wrap them up. The next theme is the environment. Now, this is a kind of a theme that kind of encompasses a lot of things. So George is probably going to have a much different outlook on this one than I did. I honestly, as I started to look for games like this, I have not played nearly as many as I thought I did. So this is a very, I only have one game on this one, and it's Ecos, the First Continent.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And that's mostly like, I wouldn't really picture this the type of environment game. I wanted to play like, what is it? CO2.
Yeah, well, that would fit. I see this as environment and ecosystems. And so ecos would absolutely fit that category, yeah.
Yeah, I think it fits too. But when I was thinking the environment, I was picturing more of like, this is where I would picture a co-op being probably the best of the theme, where you're trying to like save the environment or do something to help the environment or whatever. You know, this in Ecos, the First Continent, you're literally building the world.
Right.
And building the environment. So
and
I just haven't.
A bit abstract as well.
It's a bit abstract. So I literally did not have good choices for this, but I knew that George would love this theme. So I couldn't just say, I don't have anything. Let's not put that one.
I would be so disappointed in you.
He would be very disappointed in me. So I am not the one for this one, honestly, but I did want to pick one thing. Although I think that CO2 would be a very good choice. I've always wanted to play that one. So
yeah, and they have they've redone that one. They've sort of come out with a second edition that fixed some issues with it, I think, and streamlined it a bit.
Sweet.
Yeah, so look for that. Haven't played it, would love to. So for this one, I have my top choice, but I want to start with one that is just a game that I love that doesn't get enough attention. And in terms of ecosystems, it is called Inhabit the Earth. And really, it's a race game, but the race is based on using these cards, each of which has multiple functions, but they all feature a type of animal. And so you're taking these cards that are animals and you're using them, you're playing them in order to move along these tracks. So it's a race, but in order to do so, you have to go through various environments and you have to breed your animals and migrate them to different continents. So there's a strong tie-in with this sort of ecosystem theme. Really, it's a race game, but it's by Richard Breese, and it's one of the more interesting multi-use card games that I've ever seen. Really, really like Inhabit the Earth, and it doesn't get enough attention.
I love a good multi-use card game. That is why I mentioned Lagrange earlier.
We gotta get this one to the table. Right. I miss it. I really do. So I wanted to bring that one up, but my actual choice for the theme of the environment is, guess what? A co-op. And it's a fairly new one. I really like this one so much. It's called Endangered. And they've had another Kickstarter.
This is why we did this theme right here is for this game.
Oh,
because I knew this was going to be your pick.
Really, for such a new game, this one just really hits it out of the park. And they've got an expansion coming out pretty soon that adds another 6 or 7 creatures to the base game. So we've got tigers and sea otters and pandas, but now we're going to have 6 or 7 more. And there's even some fan created ones. There's different salmon and things that people have just made it up on their own. Oh, it's so great. It's a game where you're trying to keep these various species alive. And so each of them has a different deck of cards of various challenges and impacts, things that impact that species in a negative way or possibly in a positive way, but not so much because it's a challenging co-op. And you have these characters that are able to help. It might be a TV show producer who's going to, champion their cause, or it might be someone who's a politician, because at the same time that you're saving the species, you have to do it by convincing these nations to pass laws that keep them protected. Oh, it's so good. Endangered. It is by Grand Gamers Guild.
Great company, by the way.
Yeah.
The next theme that we have is spies, which could be kind of again, encompasses different things. James Bond, I don't know, ninjas, who knows?
That's true, yeah.
That is true. Although I did go with, there's a lot of party games that could really apply to this, but I really went with Spectre Ops because it is it's more futuristic, but you do feel like you're getting into this, this area. You're trying to figure out what's going on, collect information while you're dodging all the bullets and people trying to shoot you, but you're hiding a lot. It's more spy than like James Bond-ish type of spy, like the action spy, right?
Yeah.
It's a very good game. This is a very fun game. It's honestly one of the games I don't like being the hidden guy.
Tell me which one you picked again. Sorry.
Spectre Ops.
Okay. It's like future. It's a
it's in the future. It's in the future. Right.
Okay.
Kind of
Gotcha.
like, like the Android world type of thing where it's like,
yeah, I know this one. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So one player is walking through this facility. They write all their movements down on a piece of paper type of deal. And the other 3 players, are controlling these hunters that are walking around trying to find, like, they kind of know somebody's in the building. They want to kind of pinpoint the agent or whatever and find him or her and kill it. Right. So, but there are some points on the map that the agent has to go and activate to steal the data or whatever it is. I don't remember the whole theme, story wise.
Yeah. I think they're stealing data and maybe planting bombs as well.
Right. And so it's very spy-ish to me. I initially thought spies more like in the current age, like the James Bond type of, but that's more of like a secret agent, right? Not really like a spy. So, I mean, he is a spy, but you know what I'm saying? If I had to go into like subgenres.
It's a good theme. Yeah.
It's a good theme. My personal favorite is kind of a stretch because I also pictured spies being like ninjas and stuff too.
Makes sense.
And like thieves and everything. And that's the game Age of Thieves, which I believe is a game that does not get any sort of love at all.
Well,
and what I like about this is,
I don't know it.
You don't know it? Yeah. Each person is basically like a ninja that sneaks into this like castle stronghold and stuff. And you got to get in and steal some, it's like a jewel in the middle, right? You have to steal that and get out. It's kind of like a press your luck on how long you stay in before they close all the gates to the city.
Is it an Oriental theme?
It's, no, I think it's like medieval.
Oh, okay.
You're like, apparently I can't spell Age of Thieves. So Age of Thieves, it came out in 2016 and this is by, Galacta, Galakta. Anyway, It's a fantasy board game. So I guess it's a fantasy game. I should have put it there. A port metropolis. It's in Hadria. It's located in the northern fringes of the mighty empire. I think it's just kind of a made up area. You're not technically like ninjas or anything, but you kind of look like ninjas. Anyway, the thief who manages to escape through one of the 4 city gates, taking with him the Emperor's jewel or other valuable loot, will be the winner of the game. Anyone who stays inside Hadria after resolving the last event card will be caught and mercilessly thrown inside the city dungeon. Their names erased from from history, basically. So, it's such a good game. I love this game.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm not familiar at all.
Like I wouldn't really say that you're a spy, but a spy is a thief. You're not a thief from your side, but you are stealing stuff from the other side, right?
Exactly.
So this is more like a rogue. You're like a rogue kind of spy where you're stealing jewels and stuff.
We'll count it. Yeah.
Really good game.
All right. So for spies, I know a lot of people would probably choose Agents of Smersh. It's a storytelling sort of spy game, but it's one that I particularly dislike because it's so different from the other game that it's based on, in my opinion, which is Tales of the Arabian Nights. And they sort of have this very backwards approach to the game. In Tales of the Arabian Nights, you have an encounter, and so you know what you're up against. You get a little piece of story, and then you have to choose what you're going to do. And it might be pray or fight or run away. And then what happens is based on this matrix, and it could be completely unrelated to what you actually picked. So you try to pray, and then your prayer angers the thing and it attacks you. Now you're fighting.
Yeah.
Okay. But that doesn't bother me. That's like real life. Like you try to do a thing, maybe it doesn't work and something else happens. I get that. In Agents of Smersh, you just get a title of a thing and it's like car chase. You have no story yet. You don't know what's happening. What do? How do I know? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So I really dislike it for that. But I know a lot of people would go with that one for like a spy theme.
Real quick, just talking about Tales of Arabian Nights. It's a really fun game. It's really good.
I love it.
However, the problem is just what you said. It gives you all this idea leading up to what should happen. The outcome doesn't make any sense half the time.
You're in a magical world. You don't understand everything.
What I mean by that is so you see a beggar on the street and they're asking for money. Well, I'm going to be a nice person, give them $10. Suddenly turn into a dragon and try to kill you. It's like, come on, guys. It would make more sense if I gave them money and they tried to rob me afterwards because they realize I have money.
Right.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Like the outcomes sometimes are just absolutely ridiculous. Like that's...
You know what? You can only control what you can control. Like, I will defend this game to the end.
I'm just saying, in real life...
If you give money to a dragon, that's what's going to happen.
I don't know it's a dragon. It's a freaking beggar.
You don't know. You didn't know it was a dragon. That's tough luck.
Right, but I'm saying, like, here's what I'm saying. If I throw a football at like a wall, right? I know that probably I'm going to land in this area, or darts. Let's just say darts. If I try to hit the bullseye to a dartboard, I'm trying for the bullseye. I'm not going to hit the bullseye. I'm going to go out maybe a little bit farther out, right? So my point is, what would happen in this scenario? Well, ideally this would happen, but I get it. There's all these other things that can happen. But what they go for is like off the dartboard where you're like hitting the cat sitting on the shelf 3 rooms over. And
that
it's like,
could happen.
Oh, that could happen. You know what? That would be funny if it happened once or twice, but it happens like
no, it doesn't happen
5
all the time.
or 6 times, like to each player throughout the whole 4-hour experience. It happens so much, dude. Like,
it's hilarious.
It's like, old lady, I need your help. She starts killing you like she's from Madagascar or something, and you're like Alex the Lion. It's like, what, dude? No, anyway, we should stay on topic.
It's a great game. Tales of the Arabian Nights. Okay, so anyway, I didn't go with Smersh, Agents of Smersh, which is sort of based on Tales of the Arabian Nights, but fails completely to live up to it. What I did go with is just because I like this game. It's really not tied into this theme very much. I've got a better choice, but I just want to talk about this one first. And it is a party game. I couldn't have a list without a party game. So I went with Shadows Amsterdam, and you are competing teams going out to get intel. That's the only spy connection, but you're doing so by
that's not a cream of the theme.
It's not. No, I have a better choice.
Spyfall is a better choice.
I agree. But this is a better game. It's so much fun. It's sort of like Dixit, where you're putting out these cards and you're leading people to other cards based on those cards. I love those kinds of games. This one's fantastic. Shadows of Amsterdam. Okay, now that I've got that out of my way, this is my real choice. Which, by the way, is by Libelud. My real choice for a spy game is one that is by Ludic Creations, and it's called Redacted. And this is one that doesn't get a whole lot of hype, but it is very much a James Bond. You're going around inside the embassy, and there's all kinds of other spies in there with you. Some of them are on your team, some of them are on the other team, some of them are on the third team, actually. And when you encounter each other in various rooms and whatnot, then there's things you can do. You can pass like friendship cards, or you can fight, and you do this secretly. And it's very much rock, paper, scissors as to, I'm attacking with a Garrett. I hope they don't defend with a, knife or whatever, because then they'll beat me. It's very much like that, but it's just fun. It's just, again, very much a party game. Goes up to 6 players, I think. And it's definitely got the spy theme in spades. You have to get the intel and get out. Might be using the helicopter. You might blow up the helicopter. You might get out through the car in the garage. That also might get blown up. It's great. It's a back and forth struggle. Redacted.
Since you said we can't make it through the list without a party game, there is one game I did not think about for this choice.
Yeah.
And it is a party game for up to 8 players. And it does focus on one aspect of the spy part that actually is really cool.
I know what you're going to say.
Go ahead. Guess it.
Spyfall.
No.
Oh.
I mean, that's a good game, but Shifty-Eyed Spies.
Oh, yes. That's so much fun.
Because in a lot of these spy games, you're focused more on like the hidden movement or the action, using gadgets and things like that.
Yep.
In Shifty Eyed Spies, even though it's a party game, it really does focus on reading other people. Because the idea is you have cards in your hand that says you got to meet this other player, like maybe the blue player, at one of these 4 locations. There's these 4 locations on the board that you put like in the corners of your table. And maybe I got to meet George at the bookstore, right? And so I'm trying to get his attention and I'm like winking at him or pointing or saying stuff. But at any time, if somebody else kind of figure out if they watch you and they're monitoring you, right?
And they are.
And they are. Like, the whole game is you paying attention to everybody while you're trying to like incognitally like show off, to somebody like, I need to meet you over here.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
And if they catch your plan, they can be like, wait, you got to meet George at the bookstore. And they take your evidence or whatever,
Yeah. So, you get found out and that's it. Yeah. You get caught 5 times and you're done.
It is Shifty Eyed Spies, the awkward spy game. That's not the subtitle, but it's really weird.
Oh, I love this game.
It's really weird playing it with, other people's spouses and stuff. 'Cause you're like winking at them but it's such a good game. So if I'm gonna talk about party game, I actually kind of like this better than Spyfall, in other party games. It's a very good party game that really does encompass that portion of the spy theme.
Oh yeah. I'm glad you brought that one up. That one's so fun.
All right. Well, we got time for one more. Actually, we're kind of out of time, but we're going to fit this one in because it's our last one anyway. And that's the space theme, which again is like all over the place. I mean, you got space games, there's a ton of games. What do you focus on? 4X games? Are those technically going to be the definitive, the cream of the theme, stuff like that? Honestly, my best pick, I kind of actually didn't want to pick, but it really does work really well. That's Nemesis.
Ooh, yes.
This game, when I think like space games, I don't necessarily think like exploration and 4X and these huge armada battles and things like that, right? I think you're on a spaceship and things go wrong because a lot of the video games I play, that's what happens, like Dead Space and Dead Space 2 and Dead Space 3. No, I was just I can't think of all off the top of my head. But a lot of these space games I play on the computer, like I'm not a very, very big, like I like real-time strategy, but more of the fantasy games. So I don't like focus on the RTS games that are like StarCraft and things like that.
No, me either.
Although I like StarCraft, but like, I always like those, like you have one spaceship and this is your spaceship, right? And you're like building onto your spaceship and things like that. So I wanted to go with Galaxy Trucker. I don't really think that's the definitive. It's a very good
you're
game.
Wrong. It is.
We'll come back to that. But the reason I like Nemesis is because it does have a little bit more of that horror theme. So maybe I just like a lot of horror games, but you're on this ship that basically, what is it? You wake up from cryo and things are really bad. And you're like, we got to get out of here. Right.
Yeah. It's not aliens. Totally not. But it
does have aliens, but you are mainly trying to fix your ship to accomplish the goals you have. Now, obviously, there's some issues I had with it. If you listen to our review, like the goals don't really make any sense to me other than just mechanics. But if you're talking about theme only, which is what we are, this game is very, very good in the space genre.
Tremendous. It's not almost exactly the Aliens movie.
Exactly. And that's the kind of like space movies I like. I like either that or those very ominous, I don't know what's going on type of space games. Yeah.
I would have picked this one. I absolutely would have picked this one if I hadn't had it for my horror category.
Fair enough, which we haven't got to yet.
No, not yet.
Not on this episode.
I'll change it by then. It's fine.
My personal favorite though is a different game that focuses on a different part of space, and that's Terraforming Mars. Simply because, one, I love the game, but when it comes to space right now in the real world, everybody's focused on Mars, right?
Yes.
And I am always about like explore, like the understanding of other planets. Like, why are they just empty? Why is it just like two materials that make up its surface? Things like that. Why is it just full of iron for no reason? Why is it raining diamonds? I don't know.
Yeah.
So the terraforming Mars is really cool because it does encompass what it would be cool, like what would happen in real life hundreds of years from now, or maybe I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't think it'll ever happen actually, but if it could happen in real life, like that's a super fascinating part of it. And, there's just a lot of cool cards in that game that make a lot of sense if that was a thing that was going to happen. So it is very well thought out.
Yeah.
As far as the theme is concerned.
Yeah.
But usually when I think space, it's either this ominous stuff or like the nemesis is kind of like, oh crap, what happened? What is this thing? It's trying to kill me.
Yeah. And it's very, very popular, the Terraforming Mars, obviously. Yeah. I didn't pick a Mars game, but I might in the future, depending on the rumor that I've heard that On Mars is going to get a co-op expansion.
Oh, okay.
And that could completely change my opinion about that one. So, but other than Nemesis, which I would have put for horror, this one I have a game that is one of my personal favorites. And then I have one that probably fits the theme better. But the first one, as a favorite game, is a game called Paradox by Brian Shure. And Paradox is a game that you're trying to go around and save these worlds that you go to different time periods in these various worlds and try to save the people, aliens on them, because there's a nexus, I guess, that's imploding, whatever that means. The whole galaxy is falling apart. And so the way that you do that is by playing this sort of Bejeweled like tile token, get 3 in a row, 4 in a row kind of a game, which is just a whole lot of fun. And I bring this one up also because it is coming to Kickstarter, I think in less than a month, maybe just a couple weeks. And it's going to be the Paradox Initiative. And it's going to be redone. And it's going to be redone by Elf Creek Games. And they do wonderful remakes of games. So I'm really looking forward to the components.
That's pretty cool. I do have this game.
Do you? I like this game so much.
I was like, that sounds really familiar. And when I looked it up, I remembered that I did buy it at Gen Con at one of the booths. Yeah. I think it's Castle Games. The guy screams a lot. And I got it for $10.
Well, it was originally done by Split Second Games. $10, that's a steal. My God, it's a great game. And the one thing that I'm hoping for, if they're going to listen to this podcast, Elf Creek Games and Brian Shure, is that they will put a co-op component, a co-op mode into the new release of this game, Paradox Initiative. That's what I really want to see. And I know a lot of other people do too, because it makes sense. You're going around saving these things. Why is it competitive? Okay. Well, anyway, that's my choice for just fun space game. But for the theme, I'm going to go with another game that I don't even have a decent picture for. These are just the minis of the game. But this game is called Emergence Event, and it's by Megacon Games. And this is one where you have various space races, and you become the captain of a ship that is one of these races, and you go out in the galaxy and you're flying around, you're discovering things, you're using tactics and diplomacy, sometimes combat, but really not. It's not so much based on combat. It's based on building up your tech tree and getting the resources that you need and going and doing these kind of story missions. And it really has a deep sort of sci-fi. It's not a realistic space thing, obviously, lots of aliens. but it's almost like a Star Trek kind of a theme for me. I really enjoy it.
Well, cool. All right. Well, we have went through 12 different themes. There's a lot more that we can pick from. Hopefully this has been enjoyable, more of like a discussion rather than just a definitive, like these are the best games or whatever. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up. So we want to thank you again for tuning into episode 117. George, do you have anything else you want to part with, or are you good?
No, I think I'm good. Yeah, I enjoyed this one. It was interesting to see what we came up with, and we had just a little bit of crossover, which was, it's nice to see.
That is true. We usually don't have any crossover. Anyway, this episode was recorded on March 26th, 2021. Please send us questions and comments to MeepleCore@gmail.com. Follow MeepleCore on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Check out video versions of the show on YouTube. And until next time, this is Tim Jennette, the Middle Meeple.
George Breden.
Keep on rocking and rolling dice.